everybody. Welcome to Banner and Chance. After a short hiatus, our loyal crew has come back together, and we're going to have one heck of a time tonight. Before we get into the last time, let's run around the table. I'd like to hear from everybody. Tell us your name, your character, and what do you think they are most interested in seeing happening this episode? All right, take us off. There, Brad.
I'm Brad, and I play Rogar Norixius, the Dragonborn Paladin. And things that would be interesting today would be how we're going to deal with being split as a party.
Hi, my name's Aiden. I play Kane Harbinger. He is a human wizard fighter, and the thing I'm most interested about seeing today is how people don't try to kill my uncle.
My name's Shady. I play the human runt, and she's probably looking to kill something.
And I'm Luna. I play Geen, the human monk, all the way from the far east country of Kozakura. And the thing I am looking forward to the most is finding out whether my sister is really a witch.
Well, there you go. Well, we had a lot happen last time, and so with your permission, I will tell you a little bit about it. Last time on Banner and Chance, our party had found themselves outside of Harrowdale in the camp of the Grey Patriots and guarding the High Harvestress, a priestess of Chauntea, as she tried to garner support for peace among two warring leaders within the Grey Patriots. With the help of San Krulik's werebore son, some old ghosts were brought in that haunted the party, particularly the death of, or the murder, I should say, of a halfling. And among the chaos, a brand new figure appeared, cloaked in shadow, weaving darkness. This poetic assassin, I think we were calling him this haiku assassin, showed up and turned several of the Grey Patriots, triggered them, and suddenly this black ichor appeared on several faces, streaking down part of their face. And these Grey Patriots picked up weapons and began hacking at their fellow soldiers. Just suddenly, all hell broke loose. We knew that Uncle Burkle was in an armored wagon, and Geen and Runt lit off for that wagon as Kane attempted to stop the wagon using magic. But soon the wagon was tearing away, and Kane, Geen, and Runt were on it trying to gain entry, which they did. Meanwhile, Rogar was in the heat of battle, standing shoulder to shoulder with San Krulik and the High Harvestress as they fought to protect the women and children of this camp. It culminated with the death of the second Minotaur that Rogar had to dispatch. And in the process, Jaren the Werebore was nearly killed. The High Harvestress removed a curse, and now it seems as though his lycanthropy has been purged. That happening, as we find our party again, we have the armored wagon having traveled up into the timber trails above the camp. Runt having run back to the camp. It's only Geen and Kane at that wagon. Runt and Rogar are in the camp with the High Harvestress. We start in the forest. The trees are blowing in the wind. It's relatively silent. And Geen and Kane, you sit in the back of this wagon with the shattered form, the aged form of Uncle Burkle, who is slumped, having muttered a few phrases and slumped into the corner of his mobile cell here. There's also a corpse in there with you, incidentally. So you are free to take it away.
Question: that body that I stunned last time, is he like dead, or just stunned?
He's down.
He's down. Okay. My first thing I'm gonna do is: are there manacles in here? Is there rope? I want to tie this guy up and gag him.
Sure. You can find both.
Okay. That's gonna be the first thing I do.
While she's doing that, I'm gonna go to Burkle. I'm gonna quietly and put my hand on his shoulder, just gently try to, make him up a little. Hopefully he's okay.
He is awake but unresponsive, staring listlessly against the wall.
I'm gonna wipe my hands in front of his eyes, just trying to like see if he sees me or sees the hand, reacts to anything I do.
If he does, he doesn't show anything. He just stays and mutters with this.
Can I try to do a medicine check on him to try to see if I know what's happening to him? Or kind of state he's in?
Sure. Go ahead.
Well, we knew from last time that he was under the effects of the drugs, right? We figured that out, did we?
Yeah.
He tried to activate them, but you didn't see him
But
anything come of it.
did we understand that it was the drugs? Did we get that? Or no?
I would encourage Geen to ask Kane.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that
9.
was something that was last time.
Got a good old 9. Who doesn't like 9?
He does not look terribly well.
Hmm.
Crazy
Okay.
would be the word that comes to your mind.
Oh man. I'm gonna say to him, Burkle, it's Kane. I need you to come with us. We can help you out. Please.
Chained to the side of the wagon, he struggles from your grip and just continues to cower in the corner.
Gonna walk
Please.
back to Kane.
Burkle, please. Just I don't we need to make sure you're safe. Please say something.
Nothing.
Maybe he just needs time.
Maybe, but we
He
need to get
doesn't
him out
look
of here.
well.
We need to get him out of here.
Where are we going to go?
back to the camp.
Back to all the fighting? There's still fighting out there. Can't you hear it?
Can we hear fighting still?
You can't actually.
Well, they're
What
still
are-
fighting.
I'm gonna. Okay. Did we? Just wondering. Did we travel 120 feet from the camp? That's probably a stupid question.
You were easily 120 feet from the camp.
Okay. So not exactly 120, or
No, let's say you were more like 300 or 400 feet at least,
Okay, well,
minimum.
there goes message.
You've taken several switchbacks. As far as you know, you could be. This large team was of 7 horses now was running full out for several minutes.
All right. Geen, I need you to keep watch while check the horses. Are the horses okay?
Yep, they're well trained and frothy. They're sweaty. And they're standing there in front of the wagon.
Geen, I need you. Do you know how to drive a wagon?
I mean, I know how to ride a horse. I could try.
Because this is our best bet. It's a vault, right? It's our best bet. We can
Where
go
are we
back
going?
back to the camp. I don't hear any more fighting. Maybe Rogar dealt with it. Geen, I mean, Brunt went back.
I don't know. Just it.
Look,
If we go back there, what happens if people try and see us? And
well, we've got the hell of a caravan, don't we?
yeah, I mean, we could try to go back slowly and see if the fighting's still happening.
There's also the church. We could go back to the church and wait for him there. That could be an answer too. Or I can, if I get within 120 feet of the camp and I see somebody, I can message them and ask, "Is the fight over? Who won?"
Should we leave this man here just on the ground and take the wagon back to the camp?
Is he chained up good?
He's
Oh, yeah.
tied up.
You're the driver.
Yeah.
No, the
one I
driver.
bound
Yeah,
and
you've
gagged.
you've bound him up good. He's good and tied.
Does he have like one of those black sigils on his forehead?
He has a black oozing mark that's running down his like molasses running down the side of his face.
Okay. How many cells are in this cabin? I mean cabin. I mean caravan.
There's three central areas inside this
Mhm.
caravan. There was what was near the door, which was sort of a staging area. Then there was a double set of barred walls, both of which had a door. In the middle one is where you found Burkle. Past
Okay.
that was the driver, who was looking out this kind of a shroud and had reins there.
Okay.
And he is now slumped again, a series of strong boxes that
Alright.
are up against that.
All right,
We could take him outside and tie him to a tree so he doesn't hurt anybody, and then try to go back to the camp, or
That-
just head straight back to the church.
If we head back to the church with the driver, they might be able to figure out who was that and what kind of ailment he's having.
Well,
And it's also a danger.
how far are we outside of the city? Did we actually
Yeah.
leave the city? I
2
don't-
hours from the
2
direction that you
hours.
had.
That's far. Okay, yeah, the only chance we have is to go back to the camp with the man who did this, and maybe the Grand Harvesters could do something.
I guess that's the only thing we can do. But let's go back slowly, so we try to see them from far away. And if they're still fighting, maybe you could slowly head there yourself. I don't know how far 120 feet is. That distance is very confusing to me.
Yeah, I'll tell you when we're about that range. I'm gonna cast. By the way, if we're gonna go to the camp, I'm casting message like every minute. Just message.
Sure. All right. So you
Well-
begin to turn the wagon around.
We're
Mhm.
Let's put the man in the cell and just tie him up real good so he can't hurt anybody, and make sure Burkle can't hurt himself, and then let's try and head back.
Wait, what about Sand?
What about Sand?
He wants to keep Burkle hostage. Our only chance is to head back to the church right now. If we head back
You-
to the camp, he'll keep Burkle.
You don't want Sand to have Burkle?
No, they're the ones who captured him. For Christ's sakes.
Well, who knows why he would want him? Maybe he knows something that Burkle knows.
I'd rather figure that out when he's safe and sound away from him.
So we ride a couple hours back to the church and hope someone can send someone a message that far away.
I say it's our safest shot, because I don't think that there's going to be many people on the road, and if there are, there's going to be guards, and I know guards.
Do you think that shadow affected only that area or everybody?
Are you feeling okay? Because I'm feeling
I'm
great.
feeling fine, but what if we go down the road and find someone with that black mark?
Well, we are in a big battering ram, aren't we?
By the way, looking at the mark, what does it look like?
It's sort of a square with a you can't really see it anymore. It's almost as if the pores have closed around it. But you've seen this mark before. It's like a set of square brackets with a dark circle in the middle.
And-
Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do I recognize it or do
Yeah,
we
do I recognize
You,
it?
you understand that? You understand this is the symbol of Karathor.
Oh, that's like his mark.
Oh, okay.
Or much like it. It's stuff that you've seen used on his.
Okay. Okay. So we go back to the church and hope Runt and Rogar are okay.
Rogar can handle himself, and Runt and Rogar, and so far it seems like Runt can take care of herself. I'll drive the caravan if you want to go back.
If it's safer to go back to the church, maybe. And maybe on the way we could at least take some sort of rest and hope that we don't come across anybody. If we can
Yeah.
take a rest, at least maybe we could be able to handle whatever bad thing we come across.
We ride fast and hard.
Okay. Let's go.
Let's go.
Um,
I'm
just
gonna,
go ahead.
if we're going to the church, we're going to the church, so I'm gonna close the back of the doors, lock it up, and I don't have arcane lock, sadly. Yeah, I'll just watch it, and I'm going to cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay.
Didn't Kane knock some horses out?
Well, I knocked out one horse and it went under.
Is it oh, so it's not with us anymore? It got torn away?
It's dead.
All right.
But
So
it's not attached to the
Yeah, it's not attached.
Okay.
I don't think so, right?
no, it ripped out. It's
Okay. Are we going to look strange with one less of a horse?
We'll just say I got lost and abandoned, and plus, once we get to the gate, I can. I'm considered an honorary guardsman, so I can just flash us through.
Okay. Why don't you stay with Burkle? Make sure that he's okay, and if he can remember you, you could talk to him. I'll take care of the horses.
Got it.
okay. So who's driving the wagon?
I will.
Okay, go ahead and roll 20 for me,
Oh no. Nondescript. Roll 20.
and add your animal handling for me if you would.
That's a 14.
All right.
Hey.
You get them moving with no problem. They seem to be relatively compliant. You can steer them from inside the wagon, or you can find the seat above, outside. There is another set of reins that you can use. There are 2 reins that you can use to manage these horses. You also see that there's a large lever to your side, which you understand is the brake. Okay?
On the outside or on the inside?
Both. The
both.
the
Okay.
mechanism is in both places. Kane, you can feel this wagon begin to pick up speed, and as you emerge through the timber, you are suddenly in agricultural land. You can see that there are vineyards and wheat fields all around you, and soon you find yourself heading down a road that has rock walls on both sides. It is sort of the dinner hour, sort of 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and the sun is beginning to wane as you come up onto a road. The road is clearly marked, and you can see that there's workers in the fields, and you can see that there are people plowing and tending to animals, and the marker in the road very clearly points the way to Harrowdale. As you turn one direction, it says that Harrowdale and Yelfron, and down you can very quickly see that that's the way to go. So you I'm assuming you turn that direction and you begin your
Yeah.
Yeah.
Runt, since you've left Geen and Kane and come upon the battle, a good half an hour has passed now. Rogar, the fighting has truly subsided. The last of the stained fighters have been dispatched. There's no sign of Jaren's lycanthropes. There's no sign of the haiku hitmen, the shadow weaver that appeared. The high harvestress is seeing to mothers who are crying over the corpses of dead children, and husbands who are crying over the corpses of dead mothers. It's a rather sad tale. You look at Sand, Runt, and Rogar, and you see that he is cradling his adult boy Jaren looks quite beat up. The forge was on fire. The tents are in tatters. The horses are beginning to be brought back into the middle. But this is truly a camp destroyed. It's been more or less flattened. The High Harvestress turns to you, Rogar, and says, "So much killing, so much death. We must get these children to safety."
Where is safety out here in the middle of nowhere?
There's no safety here. I suggest we take them back to the Abbey.
Will they be able to make the walk?
They'll have to. They have no choice. I can heal. You can heal. We can get them moving. Sand overhears this and comes up to you and says, "We must bury our dead. I will not be taken in chains." The High Harvest Mistress puts a hand on his shoulder. She says, "Listen to reason, Sand. There's nothing for you here now, and you're exposed. The forces of darkness know you're here. You have nothing to bargain with. Your hope is to lead these people to a better life. Your hope is to find some peace and lead them to it." He looks at you, Rogar, and you can see that he's a warrior broken.
I've already done what I could for your boy. He's been healed. He will continue to heal. Now it is time to move on. You wanted a better life. Actually make use of the plows instead of just creating them.
Runt, you see them talking in the middle here, and their children standing around, tears streaking down dirty faces, looking for their parents. You see the Grey Patriots trying to gather up what they can, gather up a few provisions, get horses saddled, get wagons rolling. What do you do during all this?
Try to make myself look busy with something else so it's not awkward that I'm not helping.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you want to do around all the flotsam and the
Is there anything valuable in any dead bodies that anyone would not notice me casually
You can certainly
rummaging through?
You can certainly attempt to rummage
Okay.
through some of the bodies.
Mm.
And there's several that you can try.
Okay. Let's see here. Make a quick little investigation check. That is a 15.
Yeah, and did you go up to anybody in particular?
A dead body that no one has gotten around
Touched?
to.
Sure.
Yes.
The first that you find is a woman that is sitting near you. You are very quickly able to find a small opal necklace on her, as well as you can find a straw doll on her.
Ooh. Okay. So I'll take the necklace
Mhm.
and the doll. I'll casually, when no one's paying attention, give to a teary-eyed child, as long as no one sees me.
The first teary-eyed child you found is a young boy. He looks to be about 7. He looks up at you, and he's got a short cropped hair with a rough ponytail, and he says, "This is Danny's doll. Where's Danny?"
Danny he didn't want it anymore. He left. So he said, hey, you should give this to my friend because I know that he would like it. And I said, who's your friend? And he's like, that one over there. And then he took off. But so you're his friend, so here you go. He wanted you to have it. You're welcome.
He says, Danny's a she.
Yeah, that's what I said. You
Oh,
don't hear very good.
I'm hungry. Do you have any food?
Well, I mean, depending on what you like, let's see. And then, like, let me see if I have any worms or any of the bugs that I carry around with me.
I like apples. He says,
Oh,
I-
no. Apples is gross. No.
He
Here, take
takes-
this. You just look at
takes one of the worms and he kind of looks at it and he just sort of absentmindedly begins to chew it.
Yes, there's a good lad.
He begins to sort of trudge towards the mass that's forming. You're free to continue to explore if you want, Runt.
No, that was uncomfortable for her. She's gonna go back to Rogar and see what he's doing.
Rogar, the High Harvestress, has begun to corral the children and the mothers together and saying, we're going to make for Harrowdale. We're going to make for the Temple of Chantia. And she begins to sort of push them down. She's found her horse. She's put a mother with a badly wounded leg and 3 children on the back of her horse. And the woman is holding these 3 in front of her. Some look stunned, some are still crying, and this shamble sort of caravan begins to make its way down the road, and you can see that Jaren and his father are sort of trailing behind quite a ways back as this mass begins to move out. And at this point, to get organized, it's been about an hour and a half, 2 hours. People slowly start to give up on trying to carry anything or move their belongings, and really it becomes a refugee situation. The sun is beginning to set as this caravan makes its way behind the hills that it passed, that you'd passed on the way in, and turns on to the main road, which you've now been down a couple of times, which is the road from the ferry to the gates of Harrowdale. Geen, you are now traveling towards Harrowdale, and you find your way to one of the lower gates, the Riverside gates, on the south side of Harrowdale. When you had come in from the northwest before, you are now entering from the southwest towards the bottom of the bay. A large city gate looms before you. The lines of people that would have been there earlier in the day have sort of depleted, and you can see the last of a few wagons are being left through merchants and farmers. And as you'd seen before, there is a group of guards there. This is the Harrowdale Watch, and they are monitoring people as they come through.
As we get closer, before we even get up to the gates, I want to shout out to Kane and just say, Kane, we're getting near the gates. I think you'd be a better speaker than I am in order to get us through. Do you mind?
Yeah, you want me to drive the caravan and you stay with Burkle?
Yes.
We switch. And I get the pin ready that was given to me.
You are right now in the wagon, Kane?
Yeah, we're me and
Okay,
Geen are
so-
gonna switch spots.
Yeah, so they won't be able to see you. You are in a tank, essentially. If you'd like, you can assume the upper position, which would be like a stagecoach where you're on a high bench
Mm-hmm.
up top.
Yeah, I'll get on top.
Okay. So you unlock the door, you make your way onto the top of the wagon. Geen, the door is now open behind you or at least unlocked as Kane makes his way to the top, and you can feel him take the reins. Roll a 20 for me real quick. Kane?
Okay.
Kane?
Okay, it's animal handling.
I want to lock the door and everything
2.
when he leaves.
All right. So you lock the door, and then you feel the wagon kind of lurch, and you can
Not that good with animals.
you can sense that he is not having a fun time managing this team.
Kane, they sense your nervousness. Just calm down.
I just found my long lost uncle. I am very nervous.
You can feel them begin to pick up speed as they're starting to head towards the gate.
I don't know. If it seems like we're getting way too much speed, I brake.
You start to pull the brake. Geen, you can feel him pulling on the brake, but you don't see the reins move. Would you like to help him?
This was a bad idea. I'm gonna. Does Burkle look like he's still okay?
Oh
by
yeah, they're
himself?
all on.
If I-
They're bound and unconscious.
Okay, then I'm just gonna stick my hand through the window and say, "Give me that."
You can take the lower reins if you like. So you're now
Okay.
both on. So unseen to anybody from the outside, Kane, you feel the reins beginning to be controlled from the inside.
Okay, cool.
And
I'm fine with that.
And this team of 7 is hot rodding down the road, and you can see suddenly, both of you can see that the gray cloak guard of Harrowdale are taking up pikes and axes and starting to scramble and wondering why this armored wagon is terracing for their gate. And you can hear a small bell going ding 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 ding.
Oh no!
You can see
Break!
people like this, and soon you work that wagon to a slow halt, and meanwhile there's these trembling guardsmen with it. They're like, "What are you doing? You're crazy!"
Help!
Kane,
I'm pulling the brake. I'm pulling the brake.
I'm pulling on the horses. You talk to them.
They take the horse, and you've calmed them down at this point, and they say, "What are you crazy? What are you rushing in like this for?"
I show them the pin.
Oh,
I need the general to come to the abbey. We have things to discuss.
who shall I say? This is most
Kane
unorthodox.
Harbinger.
Very well, but what's in the box?
Someone who needs help.
I try to cover up the hole.
You see him sort of motion over to this captain. The captain comes over your way, and you can see that he's holding a dish, and in the dish looks to be a small white stone, possibly a tooth, possibly a small shell. And he says, "What's all this then? What's all this?"
My name is Kane Harbinger. I talked to the person who runs the guards, and we've agreed that I was supposed to find my uncle. And in the back right now is a compatriot of mine and my uncle. And he told me that I needed to contact him once I find him. So we are going to head to the church to help him out, because right now he is very, very hurt and very, very malnourished.
As you're speaking, you see that this inquisitor is looking at the. He's got a large ledger under his. He's most unorthodox, and he and the guard begin to talk. And he's pointing at the pebble in the dish, and he says, "Do you remember the name of the constable that you had talked to?
Okay, I have keen mind, so I do know, but I forgot to write it down. So whoops on my part. But
No.
hey, keen mind helps me out. I remember everything from 30 days ago.
Yes. So you're able to describe him, and he says, "Oh, sure, yeah, no, that's fine. It's that's Constable Falck, and Falck. Don't forget that again.
A-L-C-K, got it. Oh,
Falck, and
Falck, okay.
and so we'll let him know that you're there, but expect a visit. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and have Malfier here guide you in this wagon to the temple. And
I'm gonna do.
And that was the temple of Chantia, you said, yes?
Yes, Chantia, please.
You see him open his ledger, take out a pencil, and he quickly screams, "Kane Harbinger. Very well. If anything is out of order," he says, "let me see that pin of yours, please."
Show him the pin.
Yeah, he flips it over. You can see that there's a number scratched into the back. He writes down the number. He goes, Very good. And he says, very quickly, Kane, do I have anything to worry about from you tonight?
Not from me, but there might be people coming. Their name is Rogar and Runt. Let them in. They're with us
Do I
too.
have to worry about them?
No, they've helped us.
Okay. All right. Well, this is most unorthodox, but expect a visit from our watch very soon, and I will expect
I
you to
hope
check
so.
in with the. All right. Let's let them through. Malfear, you see them to the. Oh, I'm due home for dinner. He says, "It's this is the job, Malfear. Now get going." And Malfear
Having a
takes the lead horse and begins to walk you through the checkpoint, and soon you find yourself in familiar territory as you're on one of the interior streets. Around this time, you are now turning onto the main road with this horde of children and women. It's not that slow going. Everybody seems to be moving fairly well, but it is getting dark out as night begins to fall. You arrive at the Temple of Chantia with not any major events happening, other than a lot of strange eyes on the caravan. A lot of whispers as this heavily armored thing barrels down, and as you enter the compound where you fought off the assailants that first night, you see a large paladin standing there with this huge great hammer, the size of
Regan.
What's that?
Regan?
Nope. He has this large hammer, and he says, he says, "Where's the High Harvest Mistress? What's with this wagon?"
The High Harvest Mistress is with Rogar at the camp. We are with Burkle.
Oh, well, are you in any kind of danger?
Maybe. But we need to get back. We need to get inside.
All right. He comes up onto the wagon. He motions to a few of the acolytes, and they begin to calm the horses and unlatch them. He talks to this Malfear and says, "I'll take it from here, Malfear. You don't have anything to worry about. You go on your way. You get back to Jesse, and you have your dinner. I've got it from here." Malfear says, "Oh, all right, Griffaro. I'll leave it with you." He leaves quickly. These large horses are shown to some sort of quarters on the compound, and the wagon sits there. Griffaro comes back to you, Kane, and says, "I suggest we get you unloaded and take a look at what you've got here."
Yeah. I'm gonna jump down from the front, go to the back.
If I can hear that, I'm already opening up the back door.
"You, hi, little one. I hope you're in better spirits today." You see him produce a flask from his belt and hand it to you, a silver flask. He says, "Maybe take a rip on that and you might feel a little better. You all look like you need some sleep."
Okay.
"And what is this?"
This
and he points at Burkle, and he points at the guy in a rope.
Kurthor compatriot, Burkle, uncle. He needs help.
Griffaro, we need to take these men to somewhere where they can be helped.
That one, with that mark on his head, is a danger to all of us, even being here. And you can see that this guy is kind of confused and looking at him. His eyes are scared. The gag is in. Your uncle is still not moving, but this guy begins to kind of squirm and look up at him. I would suggest that we solve that problem first. But in the meantime, Kane, you best get your uncle downstairs and not expose him. You know what I mean, right, Kane?
Yes,
Get him
yes.
Downstairs.
Yes.
Take him back to where we stayed and close the door.
His strong hands walk over to your uncle. They pull the pin from his shackles.
Do I know that my uncle is infected with Luhix, right?
Not infected. You know that he's.
I mean, not
been,
infected, but uses
but he's
Luhix.
addicted to it, and you know that he's got the scars to prove it.
I'm
Whether or
going
not he's actively, you can't. You have to have it re-injected every once in a while, right?
Before he pulls the pencils, I'm gonna say he's addicted to Luhix. Be careful.
Got it. He takes a length of the rope that's there, wraps it around, gives him a strong tight, and then he hands the chain to you off his manacles, and he says, "You get him downstairs."
I start leading him to the downstairs area we were.
You actually have to more or less drag him across the floor over to the lip of the. He looks at you, Geen, and he looks down at this man, and he says, "Any suggestions?"
Well, Kane thought that maybe someone could figure out what happened to him, what's wrong with him, why this mark appeared on his forehead. I don't know if he might be useful to find information like that, or if we should just get rid of him if you think he's that dangerous.
Why don't you step outside for a minute? Let me have a little moment with him.
Gonna jump out.
Quickly, you hear a few muttered words inside. You see that Kane needs a bit of a hand getting.
Can I try to carry him over my shoulder?
Yeah,
uncle?
you sure can. You sure can.
All right, I'll do that.
And you're going to go ahead and get him towards the hidden entrance to the bounty, the cellars, and the below the Temple of Chantia.
Yeah.
As you over your shoulder, Kane and Geen, as you're moving him that way, you hear the distinct sound like a sledgehammer hitting the interior side of that armored case. One can only imagine what's in between the warhammer of Griffaro and the side of that armored wagon.
Do you think it's okay that we left him with Griffaro?
No, honestly, but right now I care about my uncle. That's my priority.
Griffaro is now getting down from the back of the wagon, and you can see him wiping the face of his warhammer off.
Okay.
Okay. He motions to two of the acolytes, points at the wagon, and then comes to help you take him, Burkle, down into the belly of the bounty.
As we're walking, so he comes with us, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna quickly ask him. So how long have you been here for?
I've been in the service of my lady longer than most. I've been with her decades at this point. Let's get him down where he's safe. And he pulls his large shoulder underneath one of Burkle's armpits. Now both of you have him more or less suspended, and you begin to descend the stairs.
I'm just going to keep taking shots from his flasks that he gave me.
And it is strong. And he is motioning back for it. And he says, "Take it easy with that, young one." And at the gate, the northwest gate, where you first came into Harrowdale, you can see the High Harvestress is talking to the city guard. She's pointing back at you, Rogar, and you, Runt. She's motioning to all of these people. She's also pointing to Sand and Jaren. She seems to be having to give her assurances. Rogar, you can make your way up there if you'd like, or you can stay in the middle of the pack where you are now. But soon you see that the gates are opened, and several of the gray cloaks are helping the children and the women in, taking their names down quickly, sort of looking at their eyes and their teeth, inspecting them. You can see some of the guards are holding up dishes of white pebbles as they're talking, and they're they seem torches have been lit, and it's like this gate is back open for business suddenly as they're admitting many of these families. And soon you find yourself heading through the gate. Now there's you, and you look behind you, and there's several families, and then you can see in the shadows Jaren and his father walking. Would you like to do anything as you make your way towards the checkpoint?
With 2 sleepy children, 1 in each arm, I'll slow my walk until I'm walking abreast of sand.
Okay.
So are you going to make good on your promise?
What promise is that, Dragonborn?
To actually beat swords into plowshares, to change your life.
For as long as I've got blood in these veins, I will. But I can't say that will be very long. I've incurred the wrath of a dark person. You've seen this. I can't say how long it'll be before they come back to finish the job. Well, I can say that I've earned few friends on the road, and neither is my boy here. And I can't honestly say whether we're better off to stay with these people and help them, or if we're a bigger risk to them. But I've got to see my people safe, at least, and that's what I intend to do.
They need a leader.
They need a leader who isn't going to get them killed. They don't need a liability. Women and children can fade into the forest. Jaren and I, not so much. But we'll think on this tomorrow. Why don't you and I keep counsel in the coming days? Maybe you've got a suggestion I can use. For now, we've got to get these women and children fed. It's at least in Harrowdale I have some friends.
Seeing as how the city guard may have half been under the influence of Karathor, with the children redistributing their weight, I want to take a look around to see if anyone is watching us, like taking really, really, really good count of who's who and who's doing what to whom and when and where and why.
Primarily, you see a city guard that is doing their job. They seem to be logging the names of these children, cross-checking them. The men that are with them, they're checking what weapons they have. A few of them are led away, actually, in cuffs, but they go willingly. And you look up in the firelight, and you see several children, as much as you did when you were there the first day. Some not so much sleepy-eyed. It's awfully late for these little urchins, but they're up on the ramparts, legs dangling over railings, watching this spectacle of these refugees coming in with a fair amount of interest. They're paying fairly close attention. I'd like you to roll for me. Give me a perception check, please.
14.
For the briefest moment, on one of the ramparts, you see a black figure, not rolled in smoke or anything like that, but odd, feathered, with a large black beak, but dressed in the cloak of a man. When you look again, that figure is gone. Do you want to do anything with that information, incidentally?
Not yet. I'm going to hold on to that until we break away from a street where we're no longer underneath the ramparts.
Sure. Runt, you are now at the table of one of these Inquisitors. This large woman looks at you and goes, name?
Runt.
Runt. Have you been through this gate before, Runt?
Yes.
Where's your mother, Runt?
I have no mother.
She looks at the little bean and she looks at you and she says, I'm sorry, child. Do you have
Yes.
a guardian here? Do you have a guardian here?
Yes, he's inside. You should just let me go get him.
Your guardian is inside?
Yes.
The little bean begins to hop. Where inside?
I don't know. You should let me go so I can look for him.
It's none of these people. Do you have any weapons on you, dear?
No.
Bean begins to hop wildly. Really?
I mean, I have
Motion.
these good bones I found.
The bean begins to slow a little bit. They're fairly sharp. Do you use those?
Yes.
Do you use those to protect yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Rogar, you can see this is happening up ahead of you, by the way. Runt, roll a 20 for me, please.
Adding anything to this? Oh, 19.
Yeah.
Just straight.
And go ahead and just give me your deception modifier. You are. Thanks.
23.
Awesome. So she says, well, it's a rough world out there, little one, but
I
you're-
laughed, yes.
can you tell me where you're heading? Where are you going to look for your guardian first?
I don't know. Well, my father was always a drinker, so probably the tavern.
I'm going to ask you, Runt, specifically, is there any truth to that story?
She doesn't know if there's any truth to that story.
Well, you seem to the bean begins to still hop a little bit, but the female guard turns to her pikeman and says, "What do you think?" He says, I think we've got bigger problems. Let her go. And he motions you through, and he's pointing at Jaren and Sand.
Oh, thank you. So gracious. Thank you so much. I will tell my father how good and nice you were to me. Thank you.
Rogar, you are now at the checkpoint with Jaren and Sand. You're split up among the tables as you were before, and you can. The person in front of you is the same that was in front of Runt, and says, "So, Dragonborn, what's your name?"
Rogar Norixius.
Mm-hmm. You've been through this gate before.
Indeed, I have.
Where are you headed?
The Temple of Chantia.
Good enough. The bead is still. She motions you through. You can see that Jaren and Sand are in a relatively heated conversation with the guards that are in front of them, and they begin to more of them begin to sort of gather around. And Jaren says, "Get your hands off me!" And Sand says, "He's with me now. I'll take care of him. You've got nothing to worry about him anymore. With him anymore." And the High Harvest Mistress comes up behind them and says, "What seems to be the problem here?" And they look at her and they say, "High Harvest Mistress, we can't let them through. And there's too many questions. Too much has been done to them. We can't possibly leave them in your charge." She says, "I'm quite capable of keeping them safe. It's not their safety we're worried about, High Harvest Mistress. They will spend a night in the lock. We will question them, and if we deem it appropriate, we'll release them to you tomorrow or the next day after they have a meeting with the High Arbiter. But I can't in good conscience let them come into Harrowdale this late at night with that one's history, points at Jaren, and decide that we can let them go. So with your permission, I will have to take them back to the keep. There doesn't seem to be much room for negotiating here, and soon you see that there's Jaren's resigned to going, Sand is resigned to going, and they are led off. The High Harvest Mistress comes up to you and says, "Come, there's not much we can do here. Let us make for the temple. We'll make sure that these children find a warm mattress, and we'll see if there's any word from your friends." 15 minutes later, 10 minutes later, you've turned onto the road. You're stepping through the gardens of the Chantia temple grounds. And one of the... Yes?
Before everyone arrives, assuming that Kane and I got there much, much earlier from them, before everyone gets to us, can I have a conversation with Kane?
Sure. So you find yourself down in the Bounty. You are in the apartment that you were granted. Before, just really quickly, roll a 20 for me, Geen.
Am I adding to it?
I will have you add your Constitution modifier, please.
Do 18.
Mm-hmm.
Are you not drunk?
You are lit, however, still standing. And although, Kane, you've never seen Geen quite so relaxed, you find yourself with Pevik sort of milling around the door of his closet, and a bunk being brought in for Burkle, and now there are 3 acolytes around him who are bathing him and washing the filth off him as much as they can under the watchful eye of Griffaro. Okay. You are sitting next to Kane on your bunk. You're free to get up and find food or whatever you'd like to do.
By the way, I have my javelin out. I have it on my knees, just tapping it. Just
sure.
Just nervous.
I'm just gonna lie down on the bed like this and just be like, ugh.
Okay.
What a day.
It has.
Are you okay?
I'll tell you in about a day. Because right now I don't know.
I'm gonna sit up.
It carries on like this. You're welcome to ask any questions or you like in terms of talk, but as you're talking, they are definitely re-robing Burkle, getting him into more comfortable clothing, tending to wounds and tying his hair back and running sweet oils through his hair in an attempt to get rid of some of the lice and filth that have accumulated.
They are thorough.
Yes, and I thank you for that, and I say thank you to each one of them who's doing this.
They nod, continue silently.
By the way, we never got a chance to talk about it. That dream you had the other night.
Yeah?
I think I had the same one. Are those real memories?
As present as I remember them.
I have a brother too. Well, I had a brother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's been a couple of years, so. What happened to yours?
Nothing, just thought it would be safer if I left Waterdeep.
So they're all still in Waterdeep?
My mother and my brother. My dad. He's missing.
Oh. Does your brother do magics like you?
Yes, he's part of the same guard as me, and I pull out the little symbol, the spell guard of Waterdeep. We help out. He's a good man, and he's a great wizard.
So he stayed in Waterdeep while you left?
Yes, he thought it would be safer for me if I left. I am, of course, the little brother.
Why would it be safer for you to leave?
Something happened, and apparently I wasn't ready for it. I'm going to go.
Does it have to do with Burkle?
I think my dad got way too close to something he wasn't supposed to see, but being him, he had to go through it. It was his job.
He's also part of the guard?
Yeah, higher ranking though. More investigative work.
Do you think we might find him in this area? Or
I hope. And if we don't, I'm going back to Waterdeep after we take down Karathor.
it all comes back to Karathor.
Yep.
Well, I guess we can just hope that whatever spell Burkle's under with those... What is it called again?
Luhex, it's a very, very nasty drug.
Yeah, where I'm from, it's something different, or we call it something different.
Yeah, I thought you had a weird look when you saw one of the bottles of it.
Yeah. Where I'm from, there's a very powerful family that one of their means of money is those things.
Oh, that's really bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
Unfortunately, that also allowed them to gain a lot of power in our country, and power can get rid of bad things for you, so
Oh yeah. But Karathor isn't going to be one of those people. I'll make sure of that.
oh, you and me both. This is the first time we've ever been alone together, is it?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
How many swigs did you take out of that flask again?
there's still a little bit left. Here, hopefully Griffaro doesn't mind if we finish it.
I must stay sober for Burkle's sake.
You can at least take one shot. One little.
I set the flask to the little nightstand. Or
You're no
the
fun.
little table. I get that sometimes.
By the way, I was really curious. I don't know, it's been in the back of my mind. Was that your first kiss?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Are you sure? You see the large form of Griffer over top. Says,
You stay out of this.
He says, I'm just coming over here to get this. And he grabs his flask and he shakes it a bit.
Thank
and he
you.
goes, you're welcome. You helped yourself, I see.
Yeah, it really helped. Thank you.
It should help. He says, that's genuine busthead. There's nothing like it. And he tucks it into his his pocket. Runt,
I'm gonna kind of lean over towards Kane real quick and just say, "It was mine," and then walk away.
Okay.
You can see Griffaro has heard all this and he's sort of laughing. He's like, Runt, you have now come up to the torch-lit courtyard of the temple. You can see that there are acolytes moving around. There is no sign of a wagon, and there's no sign of horses. You can just. Are you moving? How are you moving? There are acolytes moving around, helping children and women find, and men, of course. But
Everything looks chill. There's nothing. Yeah.
Other than the fact that they've just had an influx of needy, and they're finding them bedrolls and campfires and
They're fine.
yeah. Where do you make? What do you do? You see off in the distance, you can see that Rogar is coming up the track with the High Harvestress.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna try and find Nagin and Kane before they get there.
How would you like to do that?
I would like to ask an acolyte.
Sure.
Is there one nearby?
Yep, there's several. She said, so the acolyte you go up to looks at you and says, "I'm not sure. You could check with Sister Farah. You'll find her in the back of the main hall."
Okay. So I will make my way there.
So Sister Farah sees you coming and says, "Runt, come here, please."
Yeah, what's up? Are you being
She says,
sneaky?
"Yeah, your friends. Not everyone knows this, but your friends are. They came earlier. They are in the bounty, in the apartment. Do you remember the way?"
I think so.
Okay, be very silent when you go.
That's my thing.
Okay. She seems satisfied with that. She says, "Where's the High Harvestress?"
Oh, she's coming. She's slow.
Okay. She's behind you?
Sure.
Okay. So she makes her way from where you came, leaving you standing at that back stairwell that goes down towards the stables.
Head to the bounty in the apartment.
Okay. Rogar, you see the High Harvestress coming up to you. Oh, sorry, you see the High Harvestress is next to you. And Farah comes up and says, "They have him, Mother. They have Burkle. Your friends, they're in the bounty. They're with him. Griffaro is with them. I have 3 of the Silent Sisters with them tending to Burkle, but he is there." Rogar?
We saw this poison. Is there anything that we can really do about it?
What poison are you talking about, brother?
The poison woven into his veins.
That, Luhix, that powder, there's nothing we can do for the addiction that I know of. We haven't been able to do anything. What I can say is that the effect wanes, and they have to be re-scarred, and more has to be sewn into their flesh. With any luck, he is beyond its immediate power, which I would assume he is. Otherwise, he could have potentially escaped from Sand. But Sand is going to be looking for that wagon, and I would suggest we get what answers we can now. If Sand returns, he may want Burkle back, and I don't know if we can have that in peacefully. You heard what he was saying about Burkle being his hostage.
I can't lie about what I know either, though.
I understand. So I would say tonight, we see to Burkle. I would say tonight, we do what we can, and we do it soon.
Your words are wise. I'll see you down below.
You see that you head back down to where you know this is. You see Farah. She leads you through. The High Harvestress is she's sticking right with you, and she is moving alongside you. You find your way down into the bounty. Kane and Geen, Runt has just stepped into the room.
I'm having a snack.
You see Geen having some fruit and smoked meat.
Oh, I like smoked meat. Yes.
Well, you made it out alive. Not
Yes.
that I was worried.
Well, obviously. But, so do we have anything to drink?
There is wine in front of you. There is ale.
We have these.
There's
I'm gonna
water.
take them both and not the water.
Okay.
Where's Rogar?
He's coming. He's talking to the lady that don't see.
Okay. Is everyone else okay?
I mean, the Minotaur's dead.
And
I
the
like
But that's good.
werebore? What happened to
Uh,
the werebore?
He's not dead. I wish he was, but it's what's the word? It's messed up.
At this point, Rogar, you and the High Harvestress step into the room. And the High Harvestress immediately looks over towards Burkle and heads his direction.
If I heard that last question, he's no longer a werebore. The curse was broken.
I mean, we think the curse is broken. Right?
So
We're not sure.
he
Right?
was under a spell? So everything he did and said before was not of his own mind?
Yeah, but if that's the case, then it's bad if we kill him, and I don't want it to be like that. So maybe the curse isn't broken, and then we can still kill him.
Mr. DM, does Kane know much about lycanthropy? Or okay, so I would know that it would affect his decisions in some way, but his personality overall wouldn't be changed.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Okay.
That's right. You know that
Alright.
he may still be an awful person if he was awful before.
I'm gonna say out. Lycanthropy is a different thing. His personality wouldn't have changed, but so yeah, there's still a chance he's a bad person. But there's also the effect of, Carthor. So that's fun.
Well, whatever he is, we need to find out what he did with that chest. Or what was in it. Where he put it.
Let's make him talk.
I wouldn't mind punching him at least once.
Same in that regard, but usually the way to do with interrogations is you act nice a little bit.
Yeah, I say we take his fingers.
That might be a little too far for me.
And then we can eat them.
Are you okay?
The High Harvestress has made her way over to you, and she says, "My friends, I've learned some disturbing things about you today, and a particular halfling. I would suggest you look in your hearts, and you ask yourselves if that's really the way to approach this problem."
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't kill that halfling. That was Runt.
But I would say right now, looking at your uncle, Kane, he is troubled. And
Yes.
he is broken. And between the Luhics and whatever the darkness is that holds him, did he say anything to you? Did he give you any indication of What's happening here?
From what he told me, it was ramblings. He talked about if my mother was here, or just dinner ready, or did he say anything at all that would hint to me about anything that's happening in Haredale?
He talked about my sister, and that was it.
Your sister?
He said I looked like my sister.
That is curious.
That I would look like my sister?
That he would know.
Well, we know that he was with her.
What is your business with him specifically? What do you need to know?
Where is my sister?
Yeah. Yes. And how can he help us, do you think?
Well, he was with her as far as I know, so he should know where she went.
I agree. We must ask him. Did you try to ask him?
We tried talking to him, but he's not.
He's not well. Maybe a friend. I point to Mr. Mushroom Man, and I say maybe he could help us. Cause last night, we all had dreams, the same dreams, I presume, of my memories. So we might be able to have the same dream of his memories. I point to Burkle.
How do
That
we
might-
know that it could pick his memories? It could. What would happen if it's one of ours? How do we know it's not random?
I think you have an idea there. I think that is something that we can work with. And I would say a cloud of spores has been released into the room.
Oh gosh.
Here we
And
go.
suddenly her mind, her mouth begins to stop moving, and her voice echoes in your mind. Your uncle is not long for this world. We must work quickly to unravel whatever madness has befallen him, and we must look for the answers. And I think your suggestion is good. And from the corner, you can hear Pevik's pincers clacking. I can help, he says.
Here we go.
A smaller voice says, I can help too. And from underneath one of the beds comes a small, gnomish figure of Bill Corn.
Oh,
Bill Corn, what are you doing here? Says the High Harvest Mistress. I saw my friends. I came down. I'm here. I want to help. Oh, very well. Quickly, she goes over to the sisters. They arrange Burkle on a bed, and they put the bed towards the center of the room near one of the braziers, and you can see her, Rogar, standing over her, and you know that she is administering this kind of a field of health over him. Also something to do with stabilizing and holding back evil, and you can see that she's quite actively performing a blessing over top of him. I will continue to keep his health as stable as I can. Pevik, you will help us. And the mushroom Myconid moves over towards her, ambles towards her, extends his hands again, and begins to release spores again. The acolytes have arranged your beds behind you, all circling the High Harvesters. And they've even brought in an extra cot for Burkle. And the High Harvester says, I need you each to lay down. I need your help. Are you willing?
Take another swig of the wine and I'll go to the bed.
I go to the bed.
Take mine.
start to crawl under the bed.
Good enough. Young one, she's talking to you, Runt. I need to see you throughout this. And I know it's not like you to lay on these cots, but I need you to make an exception tonight. I need to keep an eye on you.
Oh, that's fine. I'll crawl out and get on the cot.
Okay. She looks over to the Myconid. He raises his arms. And a heavy, heavy cloud of spores begins to head out into the room. And again, you feel drowsy. You begin to lose your consciousness. Everything seems to fade to black. Very distinctly, all four of you and Bill Korn find themselves holding on to a silvery cable. Rogar, you are at the top. Kane, you are at the bottom. Above Kane is Geen and Runt and Bill Korn. And in a line, you are suspended on a silvery rope, large, multi-stranded cable, almost silver and glass-like. And you feel yourselves having to hold on tight and bear your own weight. And energy in this blackness seems to be there. And this thrum exists somewhere below you.
So this is creepy, yes?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay, just checking.
What would you like to do?
Looking up, is there anything above me?
See the rope get thinner and thinner and thinner and fade into nothingness. And a blackness above you, void of stars.
Looking below me, is there anything below me?
Curiously, you see the silvery outline, hardly visible, of what appears to be a four-spoked spinning wheel beneath you. Directly beneath you, the center of which seems to be where this cable is anchored.
So, do we go up or go down?
I mean, there's nothing up, right?
How far is the below part?
From your perception, you're hundreds of feet above it.
I say we should go up, it's too far down.
I don't know if my strength can last that long.
I mean, we're just all on drugs, right? So let's just let go.
I'm gonna, so I'm hanging onto the wires, like both hands, both legs. I'm gonna let go of both my legs.
You begin to slide down the rope.
Oh, I can't
And as you do, the image of this four-spoke wheel begins to come into focus, and it gets larger and larger. And you can try to slow yourself, but you're sliding now, and your friends are disappearing up above you.
We're losing Kane.
And beneath you, you see what appears to be a circular courtyard and a pool that is at the center of this spinning mass, like a hub. And you are heading right towards it. And you find yourself sliding down fireman style towards this. And you see that there's some sort of rocky outcropping beneath you that the wire descends into.
Okay, am I going real fast? Like if I hit that rock quarry, it's gonna hurt?
Nope, not that you feel.
Okay.
You're controlled.
All right,
You're sliding down.
Just
Kane is now more or less out of sight. He's almost to you, Geen. I think you're the next in line, right? You can see that he is just sort of woofing out, and he's quite tiny as he just makes his way down towards this mass.
We lost the wizard man.
Well, what's he waiting for? Just get down with him.
Because I can't, because you're in my way.
I'll start going down
Sure. And as you
the
do,
rope.
Thank you.
you see that this image in front of you, and Runt, you're moving with her, is beginning to form. Kane, you now find your feet are standing atop a large round stone,
Okay.
and the cable is descends into this stone and appears to just sort of disappear.
Okay. I'm gonna look around, see if I see anybody in this courtyard, hear anything.
Sure. Currently in this courtyard, you don't see anyone immediately. What you do see is you see a cobblestone circular courtyard. You are above some sort of statue, and there is a pool of black, dirty water beneath you. There are 4 what look like statues, small statuettes around this in even spacing, and 2 of them are flowing into the pool. And around the other 2, there appear to be black vines, and the black vines are choking off these 2, and those vines continue outside of the pool and over the edge of this spinning these bridges. Now the bridges themselves aren't spinning. What's happening is you're seeing that there are these 4 shapes at the end of each of these types of these half arches, and they are circling this space that you're in.
Oh, okay.
Like
I'm gonna go up to one of the vines and see if I can tell what it is, maybe, or
yeah, sure.
in a
Go ahead
spiritual sense, can I tell what it is?
I actually will have you roll Arcana.
Yes. A +7. Here I go. Oh, 24.
As odd as it may be, this is the Luhix plant.
Oh, fun. Okay.
And not only is it the Luhix plant, but it almost seems to have a bit of life to it, and it's kind of writhing a little bit.
Okay, can I see if my compatriots are falling down?
Yes,
faster?
you can. You can see. And Rogar, are you still hanging on, or what are you
Now
doing? So
start descending.
the group is descending. You see them coming down, and as you see them, you see that the statue that they're lowering themselves into is the visage of Burkle. In the middle of this pool, cowering, much like he was in a fetal position on the inside the wagon. With what you can see of his face is very pained, and around him this rotten water in this circular fountain, and it's big. This courtyard is large, and these bridges are massive. And this is not a small structure. This is a structure the size of an aircraft carrier, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to go over to one of the statues covered in vines.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna inspect it. Like, if it is it, I'm gonna take out my javelin of lightning. I'm just gonna poke it a little.
So you're going to poke at the statue or the Luhix that's on it?
The Luhix that's on it.
Sure. So you begin to poke and pry away at this Luhix, and you can clear away enough of its root mass to see that this is the statue of a smiling face with a open mouth and laughing eyes, and the water and hardly any moisture passing through it, just sort of the faintest amount of moisture coming out of its mouth. Behind that head, which is on the end of this type of large stone spigot, you can see that there is a large golden wheel.
Alright, I'm gonna take hold of the wheel and, thinking what I think, turn it on.
You begin to attempt to move this wheel, but it is wrapped in Luhix. It is stuck.
Alright, now thinking that this is gonna help out Burkle, I'm gonna start jabbing at it.
Okay. You see that this is what Kane is doing as you hit the head of the statue, Geen. You can see that Kane is down there over at one of these statuettes, And he's working at it with his javelin at some sort of black root mass. Runt, you very quickly join her on the head of this large statue, and Rogar, you are not far behind. We now find the three of you standing on top with the cable each in one hand.
I'm gonna jump down.
Sure.
And go up to Kane. Just be like, what are you doing?
This is Luhix. I think it's constricting his emotions. Or something. I just need to clear it out.
Okay. Do we just cut through it?
I think so. Cut through it.
Okay. I'm gonna help Kane take out my shorter of the two swords and just start chopping.
Runt and Rogar, you see this type of wacky gardening going on down below. You can see that one of the other statuettes is similarly engulfed in Luhix. The other two appear to be free.
What are they of?
When you look at the which ones would you like to know about?
The statues that are free of Luhix.
Free of Luhix, you see one which is this sort of yelling face with this large trumpet-like mouth and these furrowed brow, and water is jetting forth out of it, and it's hitting the fountain at a bias, if you can understand that. So it's not heading directly towards the statue, but they're all off to one side, all spraying off to the right, splashing against the edge and trying to start a bit of a torrent and trying to circle this. You see off in the distance, Runt and Rogar, these gates beyond you moving, and the hub in which you're standing, the arms that are off there not moving, watching these gates go by. One of them is of this yelling face. The other is of this sorrowful face, and water is spraying out of its eyes, just right out of its eyes. So the yelling face is coming out of its mouth, the crying face out of its eyes. And those two are right next, one behind the other, say on the south and east corners, if you want to talk about that, at 6 and 3 o'clock. Kane and Geen are at 12 o'clock, and they are hacking through this Luhix, and there is another mass of roots at 9 o'clock that have not been touched. You can't tell what's underneath that.
We go check that one out. I want to see what's underneath there.
Sure. So as you begin to clear that black mass away, you see it is a bearded face with scroll-like hair and beard, and closed eyes, and a slightly opened mouth, and an eye in the middle of its forehead. And the eye in the middle of the forehead has faint moisture on it, as if that was once where water would have flown. And on the back of that, you can see that there is a large golden wheel.
Can I touch the large golden wheel?
You can. It is wrapped in Luhix. It is. You can touch it, and you can feel it. It feels heavy and metallic, cold.
Does it turn at all?
It wiggles. Yep. But as you wiggle it a little bit, you can see the faintest of trickles has come down the face of this forehead of this statuette. But it is wrapped in black invading vines. Rogar?
Guess I'll start cutting that stuff off.
Okay. You are able to begin to hack at it, and again it constricts and wants to, almost like it wants to reach out for you, but indeed you can begin to hack through it, and it shrinks from the legs of Morbenthal as you kind of use them to pry away at it. Kane and Geen, now you have yours more or less cleared out. The valve is clear. You can see that the two opposing faces, again at 6 and 3 o'clock, have frantic jets of water heading out of their eyes and mouth, whereas the two that you and now Runt are working on are barely a weeping.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn on the water since it's mostly cleared out.
You turn on the water. You make several turns of the wheel, and soon the smiling mouth and eyes begin to throw forth water. And at first it's just a trickle. Do you continue to turn it?
Yes.
It begins to jet, and all of them are jetting so that the pool of water begins to turn counterclockwise and begins to swirl. And you notice as this happens, the water clears slightly, and the Luhix that's inside it begins to retreat somewhat.
So we help Runt open the other one?
Yeah.
And as you do, you hear a groaning. And suddenly, the arms of the grinding of rock on rock, you see that around the courtyard, these bridges that are extending away begin to move. They begin to move in the same direction as these shapes, these large portals that are way off in the distance. But the arms, these half arms of these rock bridges, these rock laneways begin to start to move as if wanting to catch up, but still the portals are swinging around them at a greater rate of speed as these arms begin to turn as the rotors of a helicopter or something along those lines.
Dashing to Runt.
Yeah, I'll begin to turn the other wheel as Runt acts.
Kane, how you've turned this wheel several times?
Yeah,
now?
several
It's
times.
wide
Like
open?
I want to full jet it.
All right. The jet of the yelling face, of the crying face, and of the laughing face are full on. That's 12, 3, and 6. Runt, you, with the help of your friends now, have this free and you can begin to turn the wheel.
All right, let's turn it.
Water begins to jet out of this central eye and hits the fountain. The fountain now is spinning wildly. And soon you see the arms of these bridges begin to catch up with, now you see these archways as your mind begins to make sense of these silvery archways way off in the distance. But very soon you find that they're not quite synced up, and they're swinging, and they're swinging, and they're swinging.
So how do we fix that?
Maybe it has to do with the wheels and how much we let them jet.
Should we
Blue Hicks
go...
is still bunging up the works here. It's in the fountain. It's starting to break away in the torrent, but there's large chunks of it washing around now.
Should we each go to a wheel and just try playing with it until something happens?
That might be a good idea. Just try to see if one slows down so the rest can sync up.
Faster and faster. You see that the arms of this wheel are outpacing the portals, and things are getting much, much faster.
I'm running to the angry face.
All right. I would like
I'll
you
go to the
to
happy
please.
face.
Great. Geen and Kane both rolled 20 for me. I'd like a dex check on both of you.
Dex check.
Dex.
Oh, come on, Smokey.
15.
11.
Kane, you lose your footing. You begin to slide outward on this spinning wheel towards the end of one of the edges, right?
Oh, I'm gonna try to grab for any
I try to grab
stones
him?
or.
Do I notice him falling?
He's past you now. He's sliding on his butt.
I'm gonna try to use my spear to like hitch it on something, or like try to like just grab on anything, or kind of like since it's a long pull, I'm gonna like
Sure.
maybe
There's
grab
some
onto something.
There's some Luhix that's near you. The wheel is spinning faster and faster. You can see, the three of you, that the torrent inside the pool is swimming like it's some sort of a whirlpool. You can also see, Kane, as you are slipping on your stomach away, and you're clambering, and you're able to get a hold of a couple of Luhix plants. You grab onto those. They're draped over top of the fountain. You look up, and the statue in the middle has straightened out and is now beginning to scream. And you hear the voice of the High Harvest Mistress inside go, "Whatever you're doing, there's a change out here." That's what you hear clearly in all of your brains.
Okay.
If I think Kane is fine, I'm still going for the angry face.
For the moment, he is holding on to this Luhix plant. Rogar and Runt, you can see that the Luhix within the pool, as the water clears and the water begins to clarify, although it's frothing, begins to wither and die, no longer having the filth to feed on. The arms continue to pick up speed.
The Kane's still sliding.
For now, he is holding on.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Who's
you
closest to Kane?
I would say right now that's you're of equal distance.
Then if I see that I think he's going to fall into the pool, then I'll try and see if I can pull him out.
So he's not going to fall into the pool. He's towards the edge of the courtyard now, which is spinning.
Can I turn my wheel off?
You can begin to turn your wheel off. Yes, you can. As you do, you can see that things begin to sort of shudder and slow. You also see that the Luhix has now begun to die. You can see that with the wheel having spun up, Kane, your feet are extended out into the air as you're held out by centrifugal force. Rogar, you hear a breaking and a creaking. The mass of roots that you are hanging on to, Kane, lets loose of the fountain.
Oh god.
You are thrown from the edge of this wheel. And the three of you see your friend vanish into darkness.
Oh my gosh. I jump after him!
Oh,
You are sucked off the side of the platform, and Geen likewise just falls off, barely missing one of these spinning arms, and disappears. Runt, you are at you're turning the wheel, and you can see that the arms begin to slow. Bilcorum, who nobody saw was there, has followed your lead and has begun to close the valve on the angry face. And he says, "Shut up, you!" And you can see that the arms are beginning to slow.
What about the weeping face?
It is still jetting full on.
Okay. I'll make my way over to the weeping face to turn it off.
You begin to slow it down. Do you turn it all the way off?
Considering the emotion, yes.
As you do, you can see that the arms begin to slow down, and these gates that are these archways now begin to sink briefly with the end of the arm. But then very soon now the wheel is moving too slow, and they don't fully sync up.
Okay. Then I'll give mine a quarter turn back up.
We have a fully jetting smiling face. We have the eye now is at a reasonable rate. The other two at a reasonable rate. The wheel begins to spin back up and slowly outpace the portals. 3 of them now being on medium jet.
What if we turn off the one with the thing in the forehead?
So you turn off the one with the thing in the forehead, and again the wheel begins to slow. It's going slightly too slow. So now you have 1 on full, 1 on off, 2 on medium.
If I turn it on full, it goes too fast. Right? I think. Let's try it.
You turn on. You now have 2 on full, 2 on medium, and the again you can see the arms are spinning. Now they've outpaced the portals again.
Okay,
As water is sloshing over the side of this thing. The Luhix is in retreat, but
let's go back to Grande. Let's medium it.
okay. So we're at 3 Grandes and a Venti, and and we are now spinning slightly too fast. You can tell it's too fast.
Okay.
I'll turn and shout back to Runt as well as to Bill Korn and say, it's a balance of emotions. One can't win over the other.
So,
Got it. Bill Korn races to the happy one, meets you there, Runt. And together you begin to turn the wheel.
Gotcha.
You can see it slowing now slightly, and soon the gates, these portals way at the end of these large stone archways, begin to syncopate, and it's as if they latch. And now you can see it's as if this entire thing that was spinning, from your perspective, has stopped. Because, of course, from your perspective, everything now is balanced, and the only thing spinning is the water in the fountain. When you look up, you can see that the eyes of the statue have opened, and his mouth is closed slightly, and his arms have dropped, as if he's regarding you. Runt, Rogar, and Bill Corum stand around this fountain. Geen and Kane, it's as though you're floating through darkness for a moment. I would like each one of you, please, to take... Geen, you will take 18 points of psychic damage. Kane, you will take 10 points of psychic damage. You awake in the beds around the High Harvest Mistress. Immediately, you have acolytes around you, and they are swabbing up blood that is spilling from your noses.
I'm gonna roll off the bed onto the ground in the fetal position.
Where's Burkle? Is he okay?
They help you back into the bed, and the High Harvest Mistress says, "Your job is not done. I need you to get back in there." Pevik raises his arms and releases a cloud of spores. The two of you find yourself high above this structure on Silvery Strand, and that's where we'll stop.
Oh.
Yeah, my hit points aren't doing very well right now.
Look, it's better that you got the 18 than I did, because I would be 1 hit point left.
Oh, man.
That's why I was scared when I heard that.
That's funny. Oh, that puzzle was cool. That was very, very neat. I liked that.
I don't know if you guys are watching Twitch, but there's like pictures up on Twitch of this that you can see. So it's like good reference. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
That's cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Well, we've got more to come. And boy. So I guess what I would say is we've got a little bit of a ritual to go through here. So I think we're going to hear from a friend of ours.
It's time for the magic beans. Ho! It's time for the magic beans. Ha! Time for the magic. Time for the magic. Let's see who gets the magic beans.
It's so catchy.
All right. So we're going to be handing out beans. The count stands as such. Kane and Geen. Kane, you have inspiration and 2 beans. Runt, you have inspiration and 2 beans. Geen, you have 4 beans. You're 6 off inspiration. And Rogar, you have 7. You are 3 off inspiration. So let's go around the table and tell me what you thought about your party members play tonight?
My favorite part was Geen and Kane alone in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna give my bean to Kane. Not Kane, not myself. Geen, because of the. That was great. That was like a great narrative.
That was really
great.
good.
I really wanted to have just like a heart to heart with Kane, and I was like, we need to talk before everybody comes back.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't have a chance to because everybody came in at the same time, but I was gonna say I forgive you, Geen. He hasn't said it yet.
Oh, he hasn't said it yet.
But I did.
He was about to.
But then I came in with the awkward.
Yep.
So that was some good. So Shady, where does that bean go?
I'm gonna put it with Geen because that was so true to like life too. It's just like this is our first time alone, right? And he's like, yeah. She's like, it's weird. It's like,
because before it was us and Clara, so there was another one of us together before we met you guys, and now it's just me and Kane. So it's like,
I was shot with
whoa.
an arrow. That's the problem.
So we are
The moment you said this is the first time we've been alone, I tried so hard not to laugh.
That's good. So as we do this here, we're going to go ahead and there's a couple of people online, so they're going to go ahead and cast their votes. Chalta's going to open that up, and so we've got Shady going to Geen.
Rogar's going to Geen.
Kane is
Right.
going to Geen.
Oh man.
Wow, look at you.
all those beans.
That sets you at 7 beans, okay?
Yeah.
And Geen.
Oh man. I kind of want to give mine to Runt just for her little shtick at the gates.
I'm presented with the
licky.
opportunity to not lie.
Yeah.
She has to lie. I don't know why.
Just seeing her kind of go through that by herself without anyone next to her.
I agree. I think that's A-okay. And we all right, so that puts us at Runt, you've got inspiration +3. Geen, you've got your 3 off inspiration. Kane, you've got 2. Rogar's got 7. And we're just going to hear from Streamlabs, and the vote has gone to Kane.
Oh, wow.
Kane,
Dang.
you've now got inspiration +3. Okay.
Dang.
And I can see why that is. I think you know I especially like my favorite part was when the horses started terrassing towards that gate. I thought that was hilarious.
I was really hoping you're gonna ask me to roll to see if just roll a d20 or like a d100, you know, like 2 10s, and then they're like, oh yeah, if it's a 55, yeah, it breaks. No break.
You flip it.
That's right. But I gotta, and I thought there was also a couple of really good images. My favorite image from the night was Rogar walking with holding 2 kids, and
Yeah.
and the Runt moment with the little boy asking about Danny and just
I was
like
gonna
here's
say,
a
'cause Runt
worm.
got that-
Here's
Yeah.
a worm.
And also,
Go on,
Runt
you
got
scamp.
that doll from like a girl's body, but then she starts talking about a boy.
Yeah, from Danny's mother supposedly. You know.
Yeah.
So, but you know, we jest. It's just half a town like wiped out. So, anyway, everybody, well, that was a lot of fun. So, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
does anybody have anything going on that they want to talk about, or anything that they're looking forward to?
Getting sent back in.
Getting sent back in.
Yeah, when I go back in, I'm for sure gonna just fall down to the ground and be like, because my HP is not looking very happy.
There you
right
go.
now.
Well, good thing you gotta. We'll see what happens before the start of the next. So, okay. Well, with that, thanks very much, everybody. And I think it was a good one, and we're gonna spend another episode at least on this structure. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you all have a great week.